The D-3 25th Color Evolution was released at the end of July as a premium Bandai exclusive. There was a pre-order period that started back in March, and it finally released just at the end of last month. I've had my unit for about 2 months now, and I'm ready to talk about it and explore its different functionalities and share with you everything that it can do. So for those of you wondering where this device comes from and how to get one, again, this is a premium Bandai product, meaning that it was pre-order only. And if you want one at this point, you're going to have to deal with either a reseller or a shop that happens to have some in stock, those shops being online exclusive shops, because this is a Japan-only product. The entire device is in English, I'll give you a heads up on that right now, except for the voice clips, which are all Japanese, but there is only one localization of the device. So it's not something that you'll just be able to pick up anywhere. There definitely may be some specialty shops that bought some stock to keep on hand, but overall, this is an item that you won't just find in a Walmart by any means. So, as for the device itself, this is based on the D3, of course, as you can tell. And if you're not familiar with the D3, that is the Digivice from the second series of the Digimon TV show, namely Digimon Adventure 02. The original Digivices that were used in the first season of the anime were swapped out for this one because they needed to sell new toys, and that's how that works. So, this is the one based on Daisuke from the show. This is his Digivice. And you can see here that it looks pretty similar to the one on the show. Now, they had, a few years back, the special complete selection anime, I think it's called SCSA. They had that version of the D3, which was much more accurate to the show, but apparently everyone hated it because of the super long antenna, which again was show accurate, but looked goofy as heck. So this is based on the original D3 toys, which I've got my original US version right here. This is the one I had as a kid, so you can see pretty similar to the idea here, but the original US version was not the original version. Obviously the Japanese version was, and the US version took a lot of liberties when making it, including a smaller screen and a lot of differences in gameplay as well. So the Japanese version looks like this. Now, this is not the original Japanese version. This is the version 15th, which released about 10 years ago at this point. Wow, that's crazy to think about. And so you can tell there's a lot of similarities between these, but this is what the original D3 was like. And so the 25th Color Evolution is based on this original toy, but you'll notice it's also got a lot of differences going on. First and foremost, it's obviously much bigger. And that's really the key thing there, but the other thing is going to be that this is a battery-operated device. This is a rechargeable device. There's a recharge port right over here on the side, which is funny because the original D3 actually did have a port on the side. The version 15 does not. The original D3's port there was for connecting to the Wonder Swan to be able to unlock some special Jogger's evolutions. But that's not present here. Instead, we have the USB charging port over here instead. So yeah, this is rechargeable, it is color, and yeah, there's not too much to say about it. I'll point out that you can't put a loop through right here like you can on these devices. See that? You can put a loop through there, you can't put a loop through there, so I've been hammering away at that. I'm going to keep hammering at that way because I just find it silly that you're not able to do that. So this device here, though, by its name, you could tell that one of the biggest differences is going to be that it's in color, and we're going to be looking at a lot of that as we go through. So let's go ahead and turn it on right now. You'll notice right away that when you turn it on, you get a little voice clip from whatever Digimon you have selected. In this case, I have Wormmon going on here, and he's hanging out with Iori and Armatimon, and I'll talk more about that as we go on here. But yeah, so that's a nice, beautiful color screen they got going on. Same way they did with the Digivice 25th Color Evolution. And yeah, overall, a lot of the same things to expect from that same Digivice. There's not a lot of things that changed between the 25th Color Evolution Digivice, which I have right here. This is, of course, in a custom metal case, which I did a video on that in case you're curious. But the gameplay and everything is very, very similar between these two devices. In fact, this is basically just taking straight from this, but with a few additions, and we'll talk about those. But yeah, overall, very similar devices. They do connect with one another, so if you wanted to fight, you can. There's nothing that unlocks via connection, so you don't need other devices to get everything out of this. You only need the one device. And it does come in 3 color varieties. I have the Daisuke version, there's also the Ken version, which is black and gray, and then the Digimon version, which is green and blue. Of the 3, I like this one the best. The Digimon version is also more expensive due to the fact that it comes with bonuses, including an art book and little tiny Digimentals, which is honestly pretty cool, and that's why I got that version as well. But this is the one I like the colors for more, so this is the one that I will be continuing to use. So I don't believe there's too much else that we need to say about the exterior of the device, so let's go ahead and grab a prop here real quick, and we will start just kind of going through and exploring. So let's just set this up right here. zoom in a smidgen. Get our focus on. Ooh, trying to dim on us. There we go. All right. So like I say, nice beautiful color screen going on there. So for those unfamiliar with Digivice progression, this is not a virtual pet. This is not something that you raise. This is something that's just to mimic the adventure scene in the show, and that's it. So the main gimmick is that as you shake, the characters will walk around and explore the world around them. So at the end of every certain number of steps, you're going to enter into an event of some variety, whether that be meeting with another Digimon or battling another Digimon, fighting a boss. There's a variety of events out there. Just for those interested in learning how to use their devices, I will be going through these functionalities, but digitamahatchery.com does have the full functionality. I've listed it up there, so make sure to check that out if you are trying to figure out something specific. So one thing real quick is that if I hold down this button right here, and it's hard to hear because the speaker faces the other way, but yeah, the theme music starts playing for the show, the opening title music, and that's by default. So first thing to know about this is that I know that's cute for a second, but everyone in the world wants to turn that off. That's the first thing they ask, like, how do I turn the music off? So let's just hold that button. And there you go. We're going to leave that music off for the duration of this because we will hear other music throughout this, but we don't need to hear the walking around music. So we do have Wormmon and Armadimon on the screen right now. So that's not something that I specifically chose, but rather as you play, there's items and things that occur that will allow you to have other partners join up with you. So I have Wormmon selected right now, and I got a random CRT television that allowed Iori and Armadimon to hang out with me. So they're going to walk with me until the end of this area, at which point they will aid me in battle if I need it. I think this is the first area, so I would probably be able to kill the first Digimon there without needing their help. So that's pretty neat that you get to see them walking around. So it's not just Digimon, it's the Digi Destined as well, the Chosen Children, they hang around with you too. And there are 7 different ones to choose from. Now, I've only unlocked 6 so far because the last one, and I'm going to go ahead and say real quick that there are going to be spoilers in this for the Digimon Adventure 02 series, including the movies. So if for any reason you want to make sure that you're entirely unspoiled going into this, if you've never touched 02 before, then keep that in mind. But I also recommend that if you're not familiar with 02, this isn't really a device that you should be buying anyway. Just because it really is, that's part of the main appeal, is being able to recreate moments from that show. So I'll point that out in my review as well, but Digivices in general, I don't generally recommend them to people unless they specifically are fans of the show that they come from, and especially with these color ones, because that's really what they do. The original D3s did have some unique gameplay to them that also introduced a lot of unique Digimon, so one of the things I loved about the original D3 is that they introduced a lot of cool boss characters, such as Zanbamon and Pharaohmon and Devutamamon. There was a whole bunch of cool ones in there. But this is very much specifically the show. So if you did not see something in the show, it's not going to be on this device. That includes Digimentals and their evolutions. So the Digimental of Kindness is not on here whatsoever, and characters will only evolve into evolutions that were on the show itself. So that means that you won't see Depthmon in here. You won't see Arkellamon on here. You won't see Tylomon. I'm only listing out evolutions using the Sincerity egg, but yeah, either way, that's the point, is that you won't be able to go into any of those. It is just characters from the show. We saw that with the Digivice color previously, that any evolutions, such as ultimate level evolutions into stage 6, were not included for characters that didn't achieve them in the show. So even Seraphimon and Holy Dramon weren't in there, but they are on this device because they appear in the 3rd movie. So yeah, so that's that. That's what content is included on here. So let's look at a little bit of what we can do. So from the screen, like we said, if you hold down that button, that'll change music. If we just press it one time, that takes us to the camp screen. And the camp screen is just flavor. That's it. So you're not going to get a whole lot out of this, but it allows you to have your Digimon sit across each other from a table, and you can change what items appear. Now, this is the only time that the color of your device matters, because I have Daisuke's version. That means a few of my items are going to be different from other versions. I love watching the burger get bigger. And we can see that. So you see there's a whole bunch of items here. I'm not sure if I've unlocked them all yet. I haven't. What the heck was that one? Oh, that just activates Wormmon. Hi, Wormmon. I can't go back. I can only cycle forward. Popsicles, those. Yeah, I've not paid attention as to how far I've progressed with the items yet. So there you go. So you get the color of the Digivice that you have on your own color device. So since I had blue and white, there's the blue and white one. If I had Ken's, it would be the black and gray. And then you also have an item related to that. So I've got the goggles. On Ken's version, you get the sunglasses from the dark, not from the dark, what's his name? The Digimon Emperor, Digimon Kaiser. And then on the Paildramon version, you get the Crest of Kindness, and you also get a chocolate egg that they used in the commercial transitions. I didn't realize that's what it was at first, and someone pointed out to me. I'm like, oh my gosh, that is what it is, isn't it? So you can also change what scene you're looking at here. So right now we're eating these bananas, and if we go forward, and we can see them play soccer. They also have wheels. Maybe they'll roll wheels instead. Oh, actually, I think I just... Yeah, there we go. Hit the button, and there we go. I was hoping that they'd add more things for them to roll on this, but they did not. It is still just soccer ball and wheels, just like it was on the Digivice Color, so... And then the last scene is camping, so you can have them sleep on the ground, or you can put them in a variety of cots and sleeping bags and hammocks and coolers and stumps and lanterns and backpacks. I definitely have more things to collect here. I don't even have the big tubs. I assume it has big tubs. Again, haven't been paying too close attention to what items are here and which ones I've gotten yet. That's for me to figure out later. So, yeah, that's the camping. Cute little thing coming directly from the Digivice Color. Doesn't do anything, but it is there, which is nice. So, bottom button here is going to let you see your current steps. So we see that we have 255 until this area is clear, and that overall we have taken 101,416 steps. I have not actually taken that many steps, and I'll show you why, but as a preview, there's a setting in here that lets you turn one step into 5, which is really conducive for just sitting at your desk and playing with this thing. If you actually want to walk around with it, of course, there is a belt clip on it, so you can walk around with it and play with it as intended, or you can just shake it at your desk and turn on the ×5 to make it a less monotonous experience. So, I don't think holding that does anything. Oh, it does, that's right. That's how you make Wormmon yell at you. So there you go. Holding the C button, or B button, I guess, in this case. Oh my gosh, that was a long one, Wormmon. I don't know if you guys can even hear that. I'll see if I can make it pick up, but no promises. Hitting left on the dual direction button down here, which is 2 buttons, left and right, will bring up the clock. It is a clock. Nothing more to say about that. And then hitting right is going to bring us to our menu, which is where there is a whole ton of stuff. So we're just going to go right through that a little bit. I'm going to darken the light ever so slightly for the rest of this portion here, just to make the screen pop a little bit more. And yeah, so we're going to go into Digimon, and we're going to go to partner, and this is where we can see the different partners. So we can't change them right now, so I guess I can't show them to you because we have Iori hanging out, but we can also see what evolutions we've unlocked. So one thing that will always bug me about this device specifically is that the armor evolutions are actually way more difficult to get than the standard evolutions. So you'll notice that I've only got a few armor evolutions, but I have every other evolution unlocked on this thing. And yeah, that's because you have to do something different to get armor evolutions, and I'll show you what it is. It's just that you end up taking so long to get them because it's such a weird wraparound process. So either way, so that you can see all the partners going on in there and what their Digivolutions are. We have Bond. This determines whether or not you are able to evolve. My characters all have max Bond right now, so they can all evolve to their maximum forms. Look, there's also a sword up there. And depending on your characters, they do have Jogrest evolutions, and so both characters need to reach the appropriate amount of Bond before they're going to be able to Jogrest with one another, which the requirements for evolution in this are wildly low. So it'll be really easy for you to get that. So you can see I've got a few Digimentals. I got Courage, I've got Love, and I've got Knowledge, but I don't have enough for Light or Hope, and then I don't have any of the others. I guess it gives you those 5 first and then takes you through the rest, which whatever, that's cool. So, but I've still got a ways to go on those. So that's the partner menu, but we also have the friend menu, and on the friend menu we can see all the Digimon we've encountered, whether it was via battle or via an event. So I can choose from this friend menu specific Digimon to assist me in battle. So I have chosen, of course, Okuamon over here, wherever it appears, who appears to fight Paildramon in the show for the first time. And that's who I chose as my friend. There it is. There we go. But if I wanted to choose something else, I just have to go select it, and we'll go to Triceramon, because I also very much like Triceramon. That's my 3rd favorite Digimon, in case you couldn't tell by the fact that he's right over here on the ground. So let's go Triceramon right there. So if we just hold down. Oh, neat. I don't think I knew it did that. So you don't hold down, you just press it. Okay. I didn't know it gave you its face. I legitimately learned that just now. Neat. Look how mad Doraemon is. Alright, so there we go. So now I got Triceramon as my friend, so now in battle, it's got a 50% chance of helping me out in battle, which, you know, pretty handy. Thank you, Triceramon. Alright, so then we got those menus. I'm going to go back to settings real quick, because I'm going to see if I can... Now that I've got the exterior light dimmed, it would be good for me to dim this as well. Actually, wait, that just made it go right back up. I have to push 1. There we go. Okay, so we'll come back to the settings menu more in a minute. So then after settings, after Digimon, we have map. And unlike the first Digivice where it was a true map of all the areas you went, this one's just a list of episode selections, basically. So for those curious, I do have all the episodes for each area listed at digitamahatchery.com. So if you go there, you can actually see which episode each of these are. But from the most part, it's a one-to-one relationship. One area is one episode. Some areas will cover multiple episodes, and some episodes take place over multiple areas. So, for example, the World Tour arc of the original series, if we go back to, let's see, it's right over here somewhere. It's like right before this thing. Yeah. So the World Tour arc, it had like 3 different plots going on in each episode, but here it's like they all take place across each their own area. So New York is its own area, and China is its own area, and it was China, right? I think it was China. Australia is France, and Mexico, and Russia. They all get their own areas, which is pretty neat. You also do meet up with characters from the... there's a lot more allies, is what I'm trying to say. There's a lot more allies in this than there were in the last one, so you see a lot of ally characters appear throughout the progression. And so the different other international Digidestin that appeared in the World Tour arc, they have representation here as well. Except for Gatsumon. Maria's, I think it's Maria, her Digimon. He is on the device, but does not appear in the Mexico area for whatever reason. Like, if I go back to Mexico here, like, you get the Battle of Dokugumon, you get an event with Armadimon for some reason, and then boss is Minotaurmon, but no event with... Yeah, I don't know. It's weird. Meanwhile, you go to France and you fight all the Bean Digimon, but Floramon's also there since Floramon is in there. Betamon also conspicuously absent. Very annoyed by that. They also just kind of made weird decisions. Like, instead of putting in Ganimon, they put in Selamon. Pretty sure because they didn't want to make a Ganimon sprite. So they're like, well, let's just use Selamon. So, fine. I mean, this is the same Digimon, but either way, a little bit of a... I'm bummed that they weren't there. The Digidestined also don't have... The international ones don't have sprites modeled for them or anything. But that being said, the original Chosen Children are on the device only as allies. So you can find Agumon. So if I go to the end of this area, then Taichi's going to be there as well in his 02 design where he's in the green outfit for middle school or whatever it is. And yeah, so there's a mix of events and battles. You can see we're going to hit up a battle with Gazimon in here. And yeah, each area has a mix of these until you reach the boss. And once you reach the boss and defeat it, you can go on to the next area. You also have a chance when clearing areas to unlock a secret area. And once you clear that secret area, then nothing special happens in the moment, but that is a requirement for unlocking the final unlock on this, is to clear all secret areas that there are. So it can be a little bit tedious to go through. I recommend going through each event and battle that is not the boss, because you can't unlock it from a boss. You can only unlock it from battles and events. So go through each one of these, change out your partner Digimon. That seems to sometimes affect it. There's probably is some logic to it, but I don't know what it is, and we haven't data mined this device, so it's anyone's guess, really, how it specifically works. So, but yeah, the set's map selection. So we're currently in a map. We're in there with Gazimon. Cool thing, real quick, I should point out, is that instead of hitting back over and over to return to the home screen, they did make the power button into a home button, and I absolutely love that decision. So you just hit the power button from anywhere you are, you get brought back to the home screen. Absolutely a magnificent change. I love that so much. So we're in an area, so the way this works is that if I shake it enough, and we'll just keep shaking it here for a moment. Let me zoom out while we do that to make it more visually interesting. As you shake, they will lock. And you'll notice I'm shaking it this way. That's only because I've gotten used to doing that from not wanting the clacker to activate all the time. If I shake it this way, it clacks, and that's, you know, fine and dandy, but sometimes you want to be more discreet, such as flying on an airplane where I was continuing to log my progress on this for the website, and I didn't want everyone to get really ticked off at me, so I was shaking it like this to keep it quiet. Both ways work. doesn't matter which way you do it, because it's just an accelerometer in there. The little clacker doesn't actually do anything at all. So you'll notice there's some cool parallax scrolling going on. I don't know if that was very evident from that, but as you walk, like, it does have multiple layers to simulate the walking, which is nice. So there we go. We got a battle with Gazimon going on. So because I am Wormmon, I'm going to have access to Wormmon's evolutions. Every battle start, you get told what type of battle it will be. In this case, I need to press the A button as quickly as possible to win the beam clash that will occur. There's also the ability to shake. It'll tell you if you need to shake the device. And then there's a follow method where you match the button presses to the ones you see on the screen. So this one's just pressing. Some of you may be getting PTSD when I talk about this from the previous Digivice, where it just had an absurd number of button matches required for certain bosses. And while they were doable, it was a major complaint. And while I can't say this super scientifically, I have not had an issue with mashing on any battle. And I haven't had to like try hard or anything. That might be a combination of them lowering the requirements, because like the follow game had a 4-step and a 5-step version on the last device. On this device, there's only one battle on the entire device that has the 5-step version. They made it easier overall there. And the button here is just also a little easier to hit, so that might have something to do with it too. But either way, once you accept what type of battle you'll be doing, you're brought to the screen with your current selected partner on it, and you can go through its evolutions. So Wormmon, I can choose between Stingmon, Pyldramon, Imperial Dramon Dragon Mode, Imperial Dramon Fighter Mode, or Imperial Dramon Paladin Mode. Most of these are unlocked just as you win battles. You get the ability to evolve as you win, so you don't have to wait to a certain area. Pyldramon's an exception. You can only access that after you defeat Belial Vamdamon and do a search for the Omega Sword. And we'll talk about searches here in a second too. So we have the option to select between any of those. Again, you don't see Puchimon in here because it didn't appear in the show. You don't see Dino Beamon in here. It didn't appear in the show. You don't see any of the other armor evolutions. You don't see Grand Kuwagamon. It is just the ones that were in Digimon Adventure 02. So whenever I choose the evolution, it'll go through all of those evolution sequences, meaning that you have to watch Wormmon evolve into Stingmon, and Stingmon evolve into Pyldramon, and yeah, so on and so forth. I did a short on that you could watch for the full thing there. Not going to show you the full thing here. But we're just going to evolve up into Stingmon for the purposes of this demonstration. So you'll see that it plays, just like from the show, it plays Braveheart, since it is a standard evolution. If I was armor evolving, then it would be playing whatever the heck the armor evolution song is called. I don't know. I think the Joggers one's called Beat Hit. That's the one I like most from this series. And there we go. We've evolved into Stingmon. So that gives us a little bit of an edge since our enemy is a stage 3 Digimon. We are stage 4. So our attack will do a little bit more damage. I believe Imperial Dramon Paladin Mode will one-hit KO basically anything, if I recall correctly from my testing. Otherwise, you get one advantage for every stage higher you are than your opponent. So we mash during the beam clash just like that. The attack goes through. This will do 3 damage because the default is 2, but since we're 1 level higher, it does 3. And then since Iori was with us, he's going to come out, and the maximum evolved form of his Digimon, which is Shakomon, is going to come and fire an assist beam as well. There's also a 20% chance of that happening in any battle, but if they're walking with you when you enter a battle, then it's a 100% chance that that will occur. So finish them off. That attack will do 2 or 3 damage. In my experience, it did 3 basically almost every time, especially after I got the evolutions, but allegedly it's supposed to also be able to do 2. So we do get an item for winning. That's not an every time thing, but it is some of the time. So we got the laptop, same as it did on the other Digivice, the Digivice Color. That is going to allow us to skip past the step requirements on our next selected stage. So if I wanted to go to area 42 for example, which is normally a 2,000 step area, I only have to go 0 steps to fight Belial Vamdamon, which is pretty darn cool. So going from area to area really is the main gameplay element of this device. That's the real goal, is to clear every area, every secret stage, get every evolution. That's what you're doing with this. And it can be done pretty quickly, just because, again, you get that 5-time step counter that we talked about. And so as such, there's not what I would call a lot of replay value in this. You can always, reset your save data and go on, but it's not like a BPET where you're starting over a new run and just seeing what you get. In this case, it's like really is just a straight line forward, and then there's not really anything else that will happen differently at that point. So but that's the map feature. So if we go on to next, we're going to see training. So this is something that was not on the Digivice 25th Color Evolution. This is new to this. Every 300 steps you get are going to get saved into a training bank, and you can spend those steps, which I'll just do by hitting forward, and this is going to do one of the battle methods. So we're doing shake for this one, so I'm just going to take that up. Give it a good shake. A shot is fired. If I shook good enough, then it's going to destroy the punching bag. Let's see. And I did. Great. So what that does is that gets us 10 search points. And those search points are going to be able to be used for discovering Digimentals. So there are other things that occur from searching as well. It's not just Digimentals, but that's really what you want. If you get something else, you're kind of bummed out. So let's see if I have enough search points right now to show that off. Nope, we need to get a few more. So we're going to go back to training, and we'll just do 2 more trainings. So I find this process to be a little monotonous because you have to go outside of the main gameplay. Let's push the button. Outside of the main gameplay to take time to do these trainings. They only give you 10 points, and you need 30 points to do a search. And then once you have 30 points to do a search, you can only save up to 90 points. So you're constantly having to go back and forth. It's not like you could just farm all the search points all at once. You can farm up to 90, but then you have to go back and forth and back and forth. And I don't know. It's one of the main complaints that people have about the Excel, the Digimon Excel, is the fact that acquiring DNA is such a tedious and boring process. And as someone who absolutely loves the Excel, I'm not going to deny that that is a tedious and boring process. So let's just do a quick follow game here. Okay, that one, that one, that one. Okay. And it's not any better on this. So, like I said, I had all the evolutions done before I had my second Digimental evolution. Like, all the standard evolutions were done before my second Digimental one. And could I have been doing more training and searching? Maybe, but, like, it's not fun, and it's not helpful to get the Digimentals completed, because your other evolutions are stronger. So, it's really just kind of a time waster more than anything else. It's like an extra thing to collect. So, like, it's neat. I just would have preferred something else, really, because, yeah. And as a heads up, the antenna here has no part in this. So when we do this search, it's not going to be like the old school Digivices where you had to, like, search for electrical signals to unlock things. No, this is just going to be, we just hit the button, and it just makes a few beeps, and we just hope we cross our fingers, and we lose. Okay, great, we lost. We got a CRT, isn't that great? But it's not the Digimental. And that's what's really annoying, is that you don't always get a Digimental. Sometimes you get items. So I've pretty much exhausted, I believe, the list of main items. So I just get CRTs and laptops at this point, which are helpful. CRTs are what summon people to assist you when you're walking around on the map. That's why Iori was there before. If I go back to the map, we're going to see somebody else there now. If I go back, then yeah, look. Hikari's with me with Tailmon. So that's what CRT does. But yeah, you can also get a battle out of it, but if you get a battle or an item, it just feels annoying. Like, oh, good, I lose, because I didn't get the thing I need, and I need a lot of them, because, let's see, I still need to get all the pieces for friendship, for purity, for sincerity, for miracles, and then 2 more for the other one. So that's, I have at least 14 more pieces to find, and if it's not an every time thing, and that's not even like an every other time thing, like it could take me 3 or 4 tries to get it each time, and even then, like, some people are like, oh, you might have to manipulate the clock and things. It's complicated and annoying. And so if I want to get those remaining 14 pieces, that means, oh, where's my calculator? We need to do some math on this real quick. So let's just do some quick typing some things in and figure out exactly what this is. So if I wanted to complete my Digimental collection, which I'm pretty sure I have to get the final unlock, so we need 3 pieces per device, or per Digimental, and so we've got 14 pieces left to find. So 14 pieces. Each of those pieces, we need to do 3 trainings to get each one, right? So 3 trainings for 14 pieces is going to be 42. Oh my gosh. Is that trainings? Does that actually equal trainings? 14 pieces? Yes. So we'd have to do a minimum of 42 trainings to be able to get that. But we don't get it every single time, and we don't get it every other time. So if I wanted to be generous and say that we can get it maybe every 3 times here. So that's going to be 126 trainings that I need to do in order to collect the rest of the Digimentals. And that's not including the ones I've already collected. But then add to that the fact that what's 126 trainings equal to? And that's, we multiply it by 300 steps, because that's how many steps we have to do to get a training. That's 37,800 steps. You saw I've already walked about 100,000, so it's not, if you take that into account, that's quite a lot. So it took me about just over 100,000 to clear out the entire map. Now, We're going to divide it by 5 because that's how the step counter works. That leaves me with 7,560 shakes of the device that I'm going to need to do at a minimum to get the Digimental. And that's assuming that I can get a Digimental every 3 searches, which I can't. I've gone more than 3 searches without a Digimental many times for sure. So yeah, it adds up, and it's not fun. It's just not. I think they really needed to streamline that process a little bit, because that was... Oh, also, weird thing real quick while I'm turning this back on. You cannot just press the power button. You have to hold it for 3 seconds to turn the screen back on. Not sure why. That's the only way to turn the screen back on. Other buttons do not work. So yeah, I like the concept of the Digimentals, but the execution is monotonous and not great. So yeah, obviously I'm still going to get them all, but it's going to take a long dang while to get them all. So we'll see how soon I can do that. So let's move on. We're going to go into our menu once again, and we've done training, we've done search. So those are the only outright new features on this device. Otherwise, everything else is exactly as it was on the Digivice Color. So if you're familiar with that, then you're not going to get any more surprises in this video. Sorry. So we do have the ability to link. This is going to let us connect to other devices, including the Digivice Color, as well as the Pendulum Color and Digital Monster Color. It is only other devices in the Color series that you can connect against. So if it doesn't say Color in its name, then you can't do it. And that's in the name of the series, not the name of the device. So no, you cannot battle with the Digimon Pendulum, Digimon Pendulum version 20th, Beelzebubon Color, because that's the version name, not the device name. Only device names with Color in their name. So you could do a battle against other D3s like normal, or you could do another battle to battle anything else. And these battles don't contribute to anything and are entirely useless. So enjoy that. You can't get injured from them. You cannot get items from them. You do not win a bond with them. You can only get bond from battles from going from area to area. So don't think that you can get on here and grind out all the way up to Imperial Dramon immediately. You have to go through the map in order to do that. All right, moving on, we've got Recover. This is something you only need if your Digimon's been injured in battle. When you lose, it gets injured, and it will not be able to gain steps until you hit Recover. That's it. Nothing really special about that. We have Play Mode. So Play Mode is where the complete selection anime blood comes into this, because this lets us have the voice clips and the evolution scenes and everything directly in our hands without having to go through any gameplay whatsoever. So if we really just wanted to see what something looked like I'm like, yeah, I want to see what Chibimon looks like when it evolves, because I didn't see it originally, right? Oh, never mind. I gotta go to Vmon. I want to see what Chibimon looks like when it evolves, because I chose Armadimon originally, so I saw Upamon evolve, but I never saw Chibimon evolve, so there you go. I can just call up a Digivolution scene at any point in time and see what it looks like. So that's neat. If you wanted to be able to do that, I guarantee you'll see them plenty during gameplay. So yeah, obviously I have a few more to get here because I don't have Terriermon and all that just yet. But yeah, does Wormmon? Yeah, Wormmon probably wouldn't be on here, right? No, he's not. I would have passed him already. No, where's Wormmon? Dancing all around it. Oh. Yeah, so I can't click on Wormmon because Minomon's not on this device. That's what I was curious about, if he showed up at all. So that's going to be saying that Terriermon, because Gummimon's not on this device. So you can watch evolution sequences. If we go to the next piece here, we can play sounds. So we can pick a character. We're going to pick Wallace. I don't even have him unlocked, but I can pick Wallace. And that'll let us listen to sound effects as we play whatever song we want to play as well. And you can see... There you go. So I can play... I don't know if it's going to come over well on the device, but I can play Terriermon sound effects and Wallace clips while listening to whatever song I want. Oh yeah, there's Break Up. That's the one from Armor. I like that it specifies it's a TV-sized version, as if this is a CD that I'm going to listen to. We got Braveheart. We got Beat Hit. That's the one I like. And we got... Oh gosh, sorry, I'm a little bit far away. Gekitotsu, which I don't know what that means, but it's like some battle music, I guess. We got Butterfly on here. Why is Butterfly on here? Why the fuck is Butterfly on here? When does Butterfly play on this? Maybe it plays in the intro thing? I don't know. Okay, well, there you go. So those are the different songs we got available to us. We also have the ability to look at boss scenes. So we could see when we defeat Hungyomon, Chimeramon, Cherubimon, Black Orgreymon, Belial Landamon, and Armagemon. So those options are all there if we wanted to replay, because when you defeat these bosses, a special scene plays showing what happened in the show. And then we have the ability to watch the ending, but not the beginning for whatever reason. So I actually skipped the ending, so I haven't watched it yet. And I'm not going to show it here because spoilers, Matt becomes an astronaut. And I assume that's captured in here, but I have not watched it yet. Maybe that's where Butterfly plays. Maybe that's what I didn't know where Butterfly plays. Because it plays over the ending. That's probably it. So yeah, if you wanted to just, use this and watch a few things, then great, you could do that. And then lastly, we do have our settings. And in our settings, we have our volume. It can go between several options. I have it on the loudest right now, which is still not super loud. It's loud enough for normal play, but you're not going to hear it in the video, I don't think, very well. So we'll see. We have display brightness, which we already looked at. We have vibration. This does vibrate, turns on and off. That's the only options you got. Unlike the Digivice colors, this does not have LEDs anywhere because they wouldn't be able to go through the opaque plastic anyway. But it does still keep the haptics to that, which is so handy. You can play this device without the sound on without any problem because every time a battle starts, you can feel it, which is really, really nice. So love that they include that in here. Wish all V-Pets had it. You can change the clock. And then the step speed, this is where you can switch between turning on or off the ×5 toggle. So if you did want to have it last longer and actually progress as you walk, then great. You don't have to have it on the high speed I do. You can turn that off. And it is off by default. But if you want to play with it at your desk and don't want to be making your arm go crazy from having to shake that many times, then yeah, you can put it on, which I will be leaving mine on. Thank you very much. And then we have clear all. So if you want to factory reset, you can. And then we have an option to power off. And then that is really it. So that is the D3 25th Color Evolution in a nutshell. Hopefully that gives a good overview of the functionality of this device. I'm going to do a much smaller video as well. That will be just a normal straight up review saying what I think of it. It will be even smaller than my last review of the Digivice Color because I'm not going to rehash every single thing that I talked about in the Digivice Color video because, again, this is mostly the same device. So, but as a preview of that, I'll at least say what I think of this. And my opinion is about the same as it was for the 25th Color Evolution Digivice, which is just that, like, this is a fine device for people who like the show. I don't think it's particularly the most engaging device, but it is at least the best D3 that you can get, as long as your main concern, of course, is getting the D3 that has the most interesting gameplay. Some people may say that the old D3 would be the one to go with, simply because it has all the different armor evolutions and all the other evolutions on it, and I think the concepts of that old D3 are magnificent, and they did a lot, but gameplay-wise, it's just not as interesting to me. And that's largely because of the fact that this does follow the show so closely. And I think that's very much to this device's benefit. I think it was really fun and adventure being able to be like, oh yeah, that's when this guy shows up. And it's just neat to see. Whereas in the other one, it's just random things happening. And it's somewhat with a semblance followed the show plot, but this exactly follows the show plot, which is really, if you're buying a device because that's the device they use in the show, that's really what you want most, I would say, is for it to be something that follows the show. And this gives you a lot of other features in it too, so all the voice clips and everything. So it's a good cosplay prop as well. Not that I would use it as one, but that is something else to consider with this, the benefits that it has. So I do think it's the best D3, just like how I thought the Digivice Color was the best Digivice. And between the two of them, I would probably say this device is only slightly more interesting due to the fact that it does have the Digimentals. Even if I hate the way you achieve them, it is cool that they're in there. And also the end game unlocks are a little bit cooler. Nothing against Wizardmon and Feedramon, they were great, but I think I like the unlocks in this one a smidgen more. That being Wallace with Terriermon and Imperialmon Paladin mode, just a bit cooler stuff. So yeah, I guess you could also say Omegamon was an last stage unlock on the other one too. It just was more handed to you than it was anything else. But yeah, I guess that would cancel out Imperialmon if I include that, which I will. I will cancel that out. But the one thing this doesn't have going for it, though, is it doesn't have Zudomon on it, and I'm very upset about that. I really wish they would have done more with the original Digidestined and had them, like, assist you in battle. Like, so for this, like, why not have the CRT also let them walk alongside me and let them attack with their final form Digimon? Like, that would have been really, really cool. I think that's a missed opportunity. I don't want to say that the extra evolutions not being there was a missed opportunity, just because, again, the intention of this was to follow the show, not to follow the original toy precisely. So I get it. I get why they did it. And while same thing I said for the old for the Digivice Color, I don't necessarily agree with their decision, but I understand why they went that approach. And again, it is just cool to be able to see this follow the show, because even with all those other options that you had on the D3, it's like what do they really add is my question, because it's not much. Yes, there are 60 different armor evolutions you can obtain, but like, why would you be using them all the time, I guess is the question. Whereas this, the main draw of it is the map progression. And like, let me show you something here. All right, let me show you what something that really like actually wowed me on this device. Because again, you're going through each of the episodes, and so you have all these different screens that I'm showing right now, showing you a scene from that episode. But it's not just the scene, it's also that once you go into it, oh wait, this isn't going to show up very well because of, I'm going to immediately fight this Kuwagamon. Oh no, I'm just going to talk to him. Right. Okay, so we'll let that play out, because this is a partner Kuwagamon that one of the Russian Digidestins has. But you'll notice right away, we've got a different background. We got this nice snowy landscape, so as you're going, you know how I am with backgrounds. I think it adds a lot of good flavor. And so you're walking around different environments and seeing different things, which is just really, really neat. And even if the events like we just had don't really do anything, it is cool. It is still cool flavor to be able to see that pop in alongside of battles. So now if we go on this, so I mentioned before the parallax scrolling stuff. This friggin' blew me away when I saw it with the snow drifting across screen. None of the other areas have anything like that. It's all just stuff in the foreground moves as you're walking. But here they actually have snow constantly moving, and I freaking loved that. That was a point in the thing where I'm just like, man, that's really cool. That's what a neat thing for them to include. They didn't have to include that. They did. That's a, like, it shows that while it's easy for me to often say it's like, oh, they're just doing the bare minimum. I don't think that's the case with these devices. It feels like it because they left out so many evolutions, but the vision that they had for it, they had a very specific vision and they went for it, and they did put in a good amount of effort to really make that vision stand out. And that's why I like it. I like how much it follows the show. Same with the Digivice Color. I recommend watching the show with this in hand and following along with everything and going from area to area as they go do the same. I think it's a really fun companion to the show. I'm really hoping to see the D-Arc next year. That would be really cool. I haven't bought a D-Arc in a long time. I did not buy the version 15th. I did not buy... Actually, I say a long time. I've never bought a D-Arc. I bought the D-Power as a kid with the beautiful little CD with the Digimon Encyclopedia and terrible fighting game in it, but never a D-Arc. So that would be new for me to have a Japanese D-Arc. But yeah, I skipped the Complete Selection anime. Obviously, I didn't buy any of the CSA devices, and I skipped the version 15th because I just wasn't that into the gameplay of, or the idea of the gameplay from it. But I would absolutely buy a color 25th evolution of the D-Arc, and I feel like they'll probably do it. I feel like this device is successful enough. It wasn't as successful as the Digivice Color, I know, because it didn't sell out nearly as quickly. Maybe that was better planning on Bandai's part, but I'm pretty sure people were more excited about the first one, because you know how it is. Adventure sells. Adventure 02 sells a little, but not as much as Adventure. And I imagine the D-Arc would probably do worse, so I would be very surprised if they made more beyond the D-Arc. Not that I would care that much, because the next device is the D-Terminal? D-Scanner. D-Scanner, not D-Terminal. D-Terminal's from this. There is no D-Terminal Color, by the way. The D-Scanner would come next, and I don't care about Frontier, so I would still probably buy that because I have to review it, but I would do so very begrudgingly. I would not buy that normally. And then after that comes the IC, and you may be thinking, oh, well, you love the IC. You should want them to do a 25th color of that. I do not want them to do a 25th color of the IC. That would make me so upset, because I love the IC specifically because it's a really cool VPET and not a normal Digivice. If they did a 25th color evolution of the IC, we saw it with this and we saw it with the last device, they are following the show as closely as possible. A 25th evolution or 25th color evolution IC would not be a VPET. It would be a thing to follow along the sequence of events of the show, and it would have the same gameplay as this. That's what it would be. So, no, I'm not clamoring for an IC color. If it was to be a true remake of the IC toy, then sure, but that's not what I would expect it would be. So, I think I've yammered on long enough. Like I say, I'll have a review out for this sometime soon. Also, should have a review out for the Tamagotchi Paradise. If you want to see what I'm doing right now on that, let's take a quick peek in Paradise and see what's going on. And zoom. And look at this little guy. We got ourselves, what is this, a flap? No, Sky Child. It's just called Sky Child right now. Obviously, very important that I show this off on a Digimon video. But yeah, I had Kamechi on this, and now he's hanging out in the ocean still, but went over to Skyland, and yeah, there we go. Oh, it's got a poop. All right, we'll take care of that in a second. Look at it go. I like this thing. Paradise is a really cute device. Also recommend. I'll have a review for that too. But for right now, that's going to do it talking about the D3 25th color evolution. Hopefully you got some good details out of this. Again, digitamahatchery.com. I've got the full guide up there. Got every area of the map system, except for some secrets that I'm still working out. It's got all the partners in them, as well as their evolution requirements, and then a manual showing you the details of how to operate the device. So, yeah, hopefully this has been helpful. If you want to talk about this device, head to the Anime Digivices channel on the Discord server, link in the description as always, and I will talk to you next time. Bye!